Hello everyone, my name is Mackenzie Allen and I will be presenting on the essay written by Radical Lesbians titled The Woman Identified Woman. So some background on this essay is that it was distributed at the Second Congress to Unite Women in 1970. This Congress was sponsored by the National Organization of Women, otherwise known as NOW. This essay was initially written in response to a comment made by the NOW president. This comment was that lesbians were a lavender menace that detracted from the credibility of the women's movement. Women were angered by this, and so they showed up dressed wearing t-shirts that read Lavender Menace and voiced their anger. These women became known as the Radical Lesbians. So the first quote that I'll be discussing from this essay is, "A lesbian is the rage of all women condensed to the point of explosion. She is the woman who, often beginning at an extremely early age, acts in accordance with her inner compulsion to be a more complete and freer human being than her society." So I think that this quote was very powerful and has a very good definition of what being a lesbian means. Of course, everyone may define it differently, but this captures the struggle of women who come out as lesbians, which is important to take into account. I think they describe defining oneself as a lesbian as being freer because it is straying from society's expectations, which ultimately frees the person from the cookie-cutter mold that society forces onto them. Women have been seen as men's subordinates for far too long, which could be the reason as to why they describe a lesbian as somebody who embodies the rage of all women. Additionally, lesbians often experience a state of psychological war with themselves, as well as other people, which could embody the rage mentioned in the quote. The second quote that we will be discussing is, "It should first be understood that lesbianism, like male homosexuality, is a category of behavior possible only in a sexist society, characterized by rigid sex roles and dominated by male supremacy." The way that roles in society are set up make it seem as though homosexuality and lesbianism is not normal. People have rigid socially assigned roles, and if somebody strays from these by identifying as a lesbian, they are not playing by their role. I thought this concept was very interesting to think about because the categories of homosexuality and heterosexuality would virtually disappear if men did not oppress women and sexual expression was welcomed by all. Humanity is divided up by those who follow their social rules and those who don't. People are socially accepted if they adhere to their role. Therefore, if somebody is called a lesbian, it can be seen as an inferior or bad label, and so this term is effectively used against women. The term holds women in line, for many women fear to step out of line or cross any boundaries, which is very problematic. The third and final quote is, "By virtue of having been brought up in a male society, we have internalized the male culture's definition of ourselves. That definition views us as relative beings who exist not for ourselves, but for the servicing, maintenance, and comfort of men." This quote is very thought-provoking. We are only valued in society if we conform to this view of femininity and are property of some man. This quote makes me uneasy because I can already think of so many examples in daily life of when women internalize and accept this definition from men. When examining and thinking about married couples, one can see that women not only will have full-time jobs, but can also get that second shift after returning to the home. This could include housework, cooking dinner, getting the kids to bed, etc. Women usually accept this as normal, while their husbands rarely need to deal with any of these tasks. I found it very eye-opening as the essay sees this as a huge reflection of self-hate. Many women will deny this, but after closer investigation, they will see that our roles and our view of ourselves have been clearly defined by men. Women need to face this fact and ask ourselves, what can we do to change this? I mean, it needs to be done, and we should only accept definitions of ourselves from other women and work towards a more equitable future. Finally, some discussion questions that I've generated for you all include, the first one is, what are ways in which you can see our society as being male-defined? And the second one is, what is your opinion of women taking their husband's last name? Is this yet another way that women are conforming to men's definition of female roles? Thank you.